Russia military trainers, air defense system arrive in Niger in bid to boost security corporations. Wow. Africa, Africa. Russia, they try take over Africa from the slave masters who have subjected Africa to everlasting bondage. It dey happen, it dey show. We go continue, make we see wetin dey happen, make we see wetin dey shele, make we see wetin dey go on. Well. Today, I want make you listen to the news in details, just like my brother, the waiting be name. My brother, Adanawa will always say, So we move. So this morning, I have a news for you. Niger is now 100% alliance with Russia. Russia is now in charge. Go enter now. No wonder why they said to Nigeria, if you want fight, make it come over. Nigeria will not get even ammunition to fight even common Boko Haram. Do you know that Boko Haram have more better
Remember,
arms than than Nigeria? Whoa, that wasn't too much time. Let us listen to the news in detail.
of the Russian military have arrived in Niger to support the country's ruling junta after it cut ties with Western allies. A spokesperson for Niger's military government says the Russians are there to train soldiers as they battle an insurgency. The Russian Defence Ministry says the members of its Africa Corps are the first group to go to Niger. Footage of the Russian instructors unloading a cargo plane full of equipment was broadcast on state television.
We're here to train Niger's army using the military equipment that has arrived here. It's equipment for different military specialties, for promoting military specialties. We are here to develop military cooperation.
They came ready with every equipment needed. It's not just that they're coming to train the Niger military. No, they came prepared. They came with aircraft, arms, everything needed to give them the maximum, highest, biggest, grandest training they need. They came ready. They came equipped. By the time they are done, or by the time they are half done, Niger will stand to tell you. And let me tell you, Niger very soon will start manufacturing their own arms, their own cars, their own everything. They are going to be free from the colonial era. The colonial era is over. Listen.
Between Russia and Niger.
I'm joined now by the security analyst and retired US Army Captain Bish Johnson. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. I just want to start with the obvious, I think. This isn't the regular Russian army that's in Niger. It's their Africa Corps, which is effectively the Wagner Group rebranded after their little mutiny, I think we could call it. They've got an atrocious record in Africa, including carrying out civilian massacres. Why is Niger cozying up to them?
You know, power abhors vacuum. In a situation where you've seen declining Western presence in Africa, the natural thing for some of these administrations would be to look for avenue to close the vacuum. And so that's what you see happening in Niger and some of these other French-speaking African countries. It's because of the declining presence of Western presence.
Now, I want you to remember that, was it not last month that Niger government asked U.S. military to withdraw, that they are no longer interested in any cooperation, in any assistance, in anything, even their base. I never knew until that last month the military that United States of America have their military base in Niger. And this same Niger is where all these terrorists from Sahel operate from. Hmm. From Sahel, they operate through that road, that Sahel desert or forest to Nigeria to take over. And they have their military base there. Just their military base is just the passage these terrorists uses often, and they did not stop them. Now Niger have taken the bulls by the horn. They say, America go, we don't want you. Russia come, we need you. Go on.
Some of these countries.
And the Russians also took a state-of-the-art defence system, air defence system, with them to Niger. Now, they're supposed to be there training troops to combat a militant insurgency. The militants categorically do not have any planes. So the air defence system that the Russians have brought, that's not what this is for. There's some suggestion that this system is a deterrent for any action from ECOWAS countries. What's your take on that?
Well, it's possible. You know, until we know the details of what the military agreement that the Nigerians signed with the Russians, we won't know exactly. And one thing with military is that they can't give you all the information. You know, they will give you certain information based on the need to know. But I know that the actual nitty-gritty of whatever is the defense military agreement that they've signed with the Nigerians is not going to be made public. And so it's possible that the air defense system that you're talking about is part of the nitty-gritty of the military defense package that they have signed with the Nigerians. It could be used, you know, it could be to deter ECOWAS countries from intervening militarily in Niger. It could also be for some other uses.
Sure, I mean, not clear what it is. But
of course, no African country will be able to attack Nigeria. This is just number one thing everybody must to get into their score. No African country will be able to even make advance, not even to attack. You can't attack Niger now. Nobody can attack Niger because Niger, let me tell you, some people may be thinking it's just, is it not just they are coming to? No, they came prepared. They remember they came with every equipment, with everything needed. As you see them coming in, they flew in with flight. You never knew what came in through the water. You never can tell. So they are not telling you anything. What they're telling you just a hint of what you need to know.
But, you know, as we said, it's on the face of it, they're there to do training. So, and it's not to defend against the militant insurgency. But we've also heard from some people in Niger, some residents there, who accuse the ruling junta of being willing to let the country go up in flames just to cling on to power. Sure, they say, turn away from the West, turn away from the former colonial power of France, but not at the expense of constitutional order. Bringing in Wagner, bringing in the Africa Corps, if that's what we want to call them, that ensures that the military rulers keep a grip on power. But at what cost is this to the people in Niger?
Personally, I can't tell you of what cost that would be to the people of Niger for now. Like I said earlier, power abhors vacuum. In a situation where there is a declining military presence of the West, or even the presence of the West generally, the tendency is for their competitors to try to fill that vacuum, whether it's Russia or China. That is why it is very, very imperative. If you go back, say for example, the United States, throughout the administration of Donald Trump, there was that tendency to pull back from global activities across the globe. And where that's the situation, your competitors will try to fill that vacuum, Sure, a lot of us, we don't want military juntas, but you know that in Africa, the kind of democracy that we have here in Africa is not the type of democracy that is obtainable in the Western world. If we don't want these military folks, the military juntas, to be taking over power, we have to actually look at democracy from the actual perspective of democracy, such as the democracy that you practice in the Western countries. Democracy where the people will have a say in their government. The type of democracy that you see in most countries in Africa is not that type of democracy. It's the democracy that the judiciary is not independent, the legislatures are not independent, and the people do not have a say in determining how they are governed. Most of the elections that you see in Africa goes to the highest bidder, and that is why you see that this kind of revolt that you're seeing in some of all these countries in Africa. So we have to go back to the drawing table and decide whether we want to practice the real democracy. That is the actual government of the people, by the people, and for the people.
With this, expect more coup in African countries. More are coming. And as many more as are coming, Russia, China, Korea, North Korea are willing. There are always wide arms, there are always arms wide spread, wide open, ready to welcome them. And you know what that means to you, British? You know what that means to you, French? You know what that means to you, America? Sit up. Let go of something that doesn't belong to you. Let go of things that doesn't belong to you.
Until we see that kind of democracy in all African countries, there's always going to be this tendency for military to strike and take over power.
And it's not just Russia that we're seeing getting involved when we see these coups happening. There's also an increasing influence from China on the on the African continent, including here in Nigeria, it has to be said. Where do you see the future of this involvement? You know, countries turning away from the West, turning towards Russia, turning towards China. Where do you see this all going?
Well, see, to be frank with you, Africa as a continent is facing multifaceted challenges. And the solutions to these challenges do not lie in one block. The solutions to some of the challenges that are faced by various African countries lie in multiple regions and multiple blocks. And African leaders have figured out that it is in their best interest to remain strategically neutral in terms of who they cooperate with, so that it gives them the leverage to be able to approach any one of these geopolitical powers and be able to attend to the problems of the over 1 billion African citizens. So that's what is going on in the world right now. Africa is the new bride. Everybody wants to get involved. And so to the extent that the West is pulling back, then there will be the tendency for either it's China or Russia to try to fill in the gap where the West has pulled back from.
Fantastic, very, lots of insights there, and I think lots of questions still to be asked about this. But for the moment, Bish Johnson, thank you so much.
It is very clear. It is obvious. Please touch the share button, make this video go viral. Let people get the message. Very, very soon, we, the Biafran people, will be singing the same song of glory. Very soon, just in a shortest while. And I want you to, if you've not voted, try and do your voting. And today, support your own army, the army of Biafran nation. Support our army. Very soon, our bells will be ringing into every ear, Thank you so much, and bye for now.